Hey friends, it's Tracy from Tea Time with Tracy and Friends, and I'm doing Summerween by Gabby Reads. I am in the woods right now. This is our lake property. We've been working on it. There's still a lot of work to do, but there's one of my girls out in the water. She's my swimming baby. It's really windy. We were going to make a fire, but it's too windy. My son's up there. We were playing board games and all that stuff, but I started a book today. I started Tommyknockers by Stephen King. The reason why I did this one is because on the little logo for Summerween this year, there's an alien ship in the air, and I wanted to do like an alien romance, an alien horror book. Don't mind the dogs. Boris! There's Boris, Maya, and Riggs, and Magda here. Anyways, I'll tell you about it in a little bit, but we're about to make some hot chocolate. We were going to roast hot dogs and marshmallows, but that's alright. We barbecued some chicken earlier and had some salads and skipped rocks, and the kids swam all day, and I can't wait to go to bed, honestly. That's how I'm feeling. But I'm having a good day, and I have read a bit into Tommyknockers, and when things die down, I'll tell you about it. They're roasting Boris a hot dog now. I promised him one. Ooh! Oh, it just went under, did it? No. Beautiful. Oh! Oh! Come to mama! Come to mommy! Melts. You need me to help you? Sure. The letters are 3, 4, 8. Who's gonna tell you when? What more can I say? Oh, well, hey friends, it's Tracy from another day. I finished Tommyknockers. I'm sorry I have not vlogged this Summerween like I was planning on doing. It's just been so crazy hectic with the summer break and stuff, but I'm outside with my pups. It's a heat wave. We're not going to be out here long. They have plenty of water, but I just got a package. But I really enjoyed Tommyknockers. I think I remembered kind of the story when I watched the movie when I was a teenager. I have the VHS up in my attic. I think I told you that. And it follows this character. This was over a week ago I read this book, so I already forget the names. But one of the main characters that open up the story, she is a author, and she has a dog. I think the dog's name is Thomas. I forget. Anyways, she lives in this big region, like out in the country, woods, mountainous area kind of thing. And it's just her and her pup. Well, he's not a pup, he's an old dog. There's my crows hooting and hollering. And yeah, she goes hiking and finds something buried in her land. It's not close to her house or anything, but she has this compulsion to unearth this. And her dog's barking and freaking out and all this sort of thing. So eventually she learns to leave him at home, and she slowly unearths this. What it is like a spaceship sort of thing. This follows a whole bunch of characters, so I can't really explain it in great detail. But basically it's this whole town that becomes kind of obsessed with unearthing this spaceship and getting it opened. And they slowly lose their minds a little bit. They slowly look into believing this is their purpose. They lose their teeth. They their eyes go a little funny. One of the characters has a metal plate in his head, so he doesn't get as affected as the other people, so he can see this happening to everyone else. Their skin gets really translucent, and there's some gory stuff in this. There's some murder in this. There's some unreasonable things. Anyways, long story short, I enjoyed it. So far I've liked every Stephen King book that I've read, and I haven't read a whole bunch. I've read The Shining, The Stand, Under the Dome, Outsider, The Cell, It, and this one, I think that's it. Pet Sematary, read that one. Anyways, I like them, and it's like a normal Stephen King book. Anyways, for the rest of Summerween, I'm just going to try to encompass this all into one. I read Mallory by Josh Malerman. That's book 2 in Bird Box. Mallory's the woman in Bird Box, the mother, who in Bird Box you follow her, and she has 2 babies. One is her biological child. The other one was her friend's baby, who she adopted right from birth. Was her friend, was it? Her sister? I forget. Anyways, I read Bird Box a couple years ago. I read Mallory for Summerween, and it will complete a duet, a series this year, because I want to complete so many series this year. And this follows her years after the downfall of humanity, and it's like people go outside, you got to cover your eyes because you never really find out what they're looking at, but it makes them go crazy, absolutely berserk, and they either kill themselves or they try to kill other people. But this is following Mallory years down the road, like say, I don't know, maybe 10 years after the end of the first book, and her 2 children, who are teenagers now, are living remotely, isolated completely from everyone. There's a neighbor that's miles down the road, and he's even more paranoid than Mallory is, and that's it. You only seen him once, I think, in the whole book. And they're surviving. It's at an old campground, so there's huts and there's a kitchen galley and stuff like that, but they still cover their eyes when they leave. Mallory is super paranoid. I didn't like Mallory in this book a whole lot. Like, I understood her role as a mother and being extra cautious, but she was extremely cautious, like overly so, I think. But I don't know. I've never been in her shoes like that. But they get word because a traveling man comes by, and they're all shut in their cabin, and he's knocking on the door he's like saying he's with the census. Not really a governmental census, but just he's pushing a wheelbarrow, marking down how many people and who they are, just to have some sort of a record of what people are left in the country. Anyways, they never let him in, but he leaves a few pieces of paper outside on their front deck. And Mallory doesn't want them to touch it or anything, because she doesn't know if this craziness is transferred via touch, or is it just sight, or anything like that. Anyways, the teenagers end up taking those papers, unbeknownst to Mallory, and on the list of names that are on those papers is Mallory's parents' names, to show that they're still alive somewheres. So
they bring this to Mallory knowing she's going to be upset. Like, they shouldn't have touched it, but Mallory always thought her parents died in Bird Box. Like, they didn't live close to each other or anything like that. And eventually they go on a journey to try to find her parents, and I'll leave it at that. I enjoyed this book. I did. I just found Mallory quite... I didn't like her as much in this book than in the first, but after years of isolation and being paranoid and the only one to take care of your kids, I can't blame her for being the way she was. She was just overly over the top. So I do have the physical book. It's in the house. What else did I read? The last one by Will Dean. I read that. This was a thriller. I don't read a lot of thrillers, but I forget what these prompts are for, but I know. Good job, Magda. She's just having a pee over there. She's still a puppy. She's only 4 months old. Anyways, on the cover, here it is. A whole bunch of water. It's following a couple going on this cruise. I thought that they were just married or something when I first read about it or heard about it. They are just newly dating, but they decided to go on this cruise together. They've been dating for a little while, but like she was hoping that he'd propose to her. That's where it goes. But so the first night they're there, they're dinner, dancing, hanging out, having a good time. It's beautiful, it's lush and all that stuff. So they go to bed, and then when the main girl character, can't remember her name, she wakes up in the morning, nobody's there. No staff, no residents, her boyfriend's not there. There's nobody on this giant cruise ship. And I said at the beginning, what would really make me not like this book is if it was all in her head, because I've read books like that. I can't really say it because it's a big spoiler for books, and it's not that. So I really enjoyed it. I haven't rated it yet. I haven't put it I haven't logged into Goodreads, but I'd say like 4 to 5 stars. It was interesting. I've never read a book like that. I don't want to say any more because it's fun to go into this blind, but it's not all in her head. And what you find out, it's not where I thought it was going to go. It's not scary, but it's like interesting. And she didn't make all the right decisions, or the decisions I would have made. If I could have left first right off the bat, I would have. However, at the end of the book, I want to know more. I wish there was more to find out. I doubt that there is. I should look into this book by Will Dean if there's another book, but I'm just like, I want more. Like, I want to find out what happens to her. I want to find out what happens to whoever else. But I enjoyed it. I would recommend it as a thriller, but I'm not a thriller girly, so for me, I enjoyed it. And anyways, I want to open this package. Let's open this. There's one more book I read. Oh, The Exorcist House by Nick Roberts. Let's do this first. Let's just do this first. Okay, there's 2 books in here. I got Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. I forget what else he wrote. I'll put some pictures here because I know he's a big old author. And I don't really know what this is all about. I know it follows a young boy. Single mother Kate Reese is on the run, determined to improve her life for herself, her son Christopher. She flees an abusive relationship in the middle of the night with her child. Together they find themselves drawn to a tight-knit community in Mill Grove, Pennsylvania. It's as far off the beaten track as they can get. Just one highway in, one highway out. At first it seems like the perfect place to settle down. Then Christopher vanishes. For 6 long days no one can find him until Christopher emerges from the woods at the edge of town, unharmed but not unchanged. He returns with a voice in his head only he can hear, with a mission only he can complete. Build a treehouse in the woods by Christmas, or his mother and everyone in the town will never be the same again. And that's it. 20 years ago, Stephen Chbosky, he wrote The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I never read that, but I've heard about it. Anyways, it follows a young boy and his mom, and just what the book said. This has been out for quite a while. I've never read it. In Canada, when this one was published, it would have been $38. I bet you anything it's more money now. First edition, 2019. So I just wanted to add a new author to my shelf. It's horror-ish, I think. So that one. And the next one I got was Skag Boys. I have Train Spotting on my summer TBR, but when I looked that up, it's a whole series. Skag Boys goes first, then Train Spotting, and then 2 or 3 other books. And I'm like, I don't want to just start with Train Spotting. I want to start from the beginning. You can probably start with Train Spotting and read it independently. I only ever know the movies of Train Spotting, but I wanted to read the book, and I thrifted the book. I bought this secondhand, but it was like through Amazon. But before Train Spotting came Skag Boys, but it follows the same guys, Renton, Spud, Sick Boy, and Digby. So it follows the same people. I might look to see if it's on Audible or Everand or something, because if it's done in a Scottish accent, that would be awesome. But Mark Renton, the series is called Mark Renton, has it all. He's good looking, young, with a pretty girlfriend and a bright future, but there's no room for him in the 1980s. And when his family starts to fracture, Mark's life swings out of control. The way out is heroin. It's no better for his friends. Spud Murphy is laid off from his job. Tommy Lawrence, ooh, there's a bumblebee, finds himself sucked into a life of petty crime, violence, in a world of in a world of the psychotic Frank Digby. World of the psychotic Frank Digby. Only Sick Boy seems to ride the current, scamming and hustling his way through it all. Exhilarating and moving, Skag Boys charts their journey through likely lads to young addicts in a decade which changed Britain forever. So I would read this. So for those that watch my summer TBR, instead of Train Spotting, it's going to be this. I'll put Train Spotting sometime in the fall or the winter, or maybe I'll pick it up right away. I don't know. But have any of you read this? And I'm just like, that's a little haul for you. So yes, The Exorcist House by Nick Roberts. I read The Exorcist House for Winterween last February, or whenever Winterween was, and I enjoyed it. The first book was about this house, this family, husband and wife. They have a teenage daughter. He's a psychiatrist, I think. I forget now. Anyways, they buy this farmhouse, and they were going to fix it up and, leave the rat race behind and stuff. Anyways, they get it. The teenager's like, she didn't want to move because she's leaving all her friends and stuff. They fix up the house, but they find the secret room down in the basement, and the dad goes in, and there's a well that's boarded up, but there's crucifixes hanging all around the room and drawn on the sealed up well and stuff like that. And it goes to hell in a handbasket. That's all I'll say about it. I really enjoyed it. I got it on a sale on Audible, and I did the same with The Exorcist House. Now it follows that same family in a different capacity. They're not at that house anymore, and there's a different dynamic. I won't get into it. But somebody else moves into that house. And at this point, that family from the first book have a new baby. Well, the baby was born in the first book. Anyways, near the end. And it still revolves around the same house, even though they're not living there. But it involves the same people, plus a couple other people. And I really enjoyed it. It's the same old ghosts and goblins that were in the first one, but it's just a little bit more of it, and I loved it. I did. Those are the first 2 books of Nick Roberts that I've ever read, and I would absolutely read more of his books. I don't know what else he's wrote. I have no idea, but I'll look into it. If there's ever on a sale on Audible or whatever, I will look into it. But I think that was for, like, listen to a scary audiobook in the dark or something like that. So I did Tommyknockers, Mallory, the last one, and The Exorcist House Genesis. So I had a great time doing a summerween. I didn't get a chance to vlog like I did last time. Just life is crazy. You've seen some of the pictures from the beach. Maybe. Take some pictures. And some from camping, and there's a million other things squished that are not in here, but that's life as a busy family with a bunch of kids and 2 dogs and rural living, that you got to make your own fun in the woods or in the ocean. And yeah, books just come along for the ride, and I had a good time with the summerween. I'm a big horror reader anyways, but I like to take part in things like that. So anyways, thank you, Gabby, so much for hosting this readathon. I had a blast. So I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose, but if not, that's okay too. I still love ya. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. I'm not bare naked, by the way. I have my shirt straps. Like, I take my straps down so I don't get tan lines. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning, and I will. See you next time. Bye. Boink.